Students, welcome you all. This is a video on your Unit 3 Thrill in School, which I have taken from my English reader book. We have already done the first chapter, which was a play, the interview, and today we will continue with the next of the stories here. So, students, as I already told you, that this unit is about thrill in school life. That means the kind of excitement children face in student life or school life. So let's continue. The next story is Girl Gang. Though I want to make it very clear in the very starting that I do not appreciate such behavior from students. But yeah, in a way, this is also a kind of thrill in school life when students they become very naughty and they act engage their teachers or engage their people who are around them. So this story, Girl Gang, is about some girls. When you will read this thoroughly, you will get to know each minor detail. Here I am going to just discuss the story with you. So this is the story which starts it was Sunday afternoon, and the main character who is narrator here is Alice, a girl. She was traveling by a train, and then she saw another girl in the same train called Christy, who was in her class also. But this girl, Christy, she never even said hello to Alice, and Alice was not surprised about it. Now, the ticket collector, he came there and he asked for the tickets. So Alice showed her ticket, but Christy couldn't find her ticket, and the ticket collector asked her again and told her that if she would not produce her ticket, he would send her to the authority or she has to buy a new ticket. But Christy says that she didn't have money for that. So this is what happened that day. After that, in the school, again Christy's behavior was same on Monday when Alice saw her. She didn't say hi or hello to her. But then, after the school, when Alice was in library, she was doing her homework. She saw that Christy just ran from there and she told to Alice that you haven't seen me if old sour breath comes there. So this old sour breath, they have given this name to their geography teacher whose actual name was Mr. Sawyer. So Alice got surprised that what are you saying? And to answer this, again Christy said that if old sour breath would come and would ask you, then you just say that you haven't seen me. And then she ran from there. And after that, Mr. Sawyer, he came there and he asked Alice the same question. Mr. Sawyer was geography teacher and he was in habit of picking on students. That means he used to target some students to ask some questions or to inquire about their behavior. So he used to always ask questions from Christy, which he didn't like. So Alice told Mr. Sawyer that she didn't see Christy, but Mr. Sawyer didn't believe and he took Alice with him to the classroom, and the classroom was all wrecked. It was all destroyed because Mr. Sawyer's maps and displays were now in pieces. So that means Christy had done all those things there. She had destroyed Mr. Sawyer's classroom and his things. And now Alice was in a dilemma. That means she was really confused, like whether she should tell the truth that she had seen Christy, because at the same time she was feeling bad for Mr. Sawyer also, but she didn't tell anything. to Mr. Sawyer. So now outside the school, Alice saw that Christy was waiting for Alice, and she just said that, okay, I did all those things to Mr. Sawyer because he always picked on me, and why should I not answer it? Just because I am a girl, I would also show my power, and like I belong to a girl gang, and I would show him the girl power. So now this is what they did. Next day, when Alice opened her geography book, she found a note which was for her from Christy only, and that note was written by Christy, and it was written there that urgent meet me in the park 8 o'clock tonight, Christy. So Alice told her mother that she was going out with her friends from her class, and that's how she went. So at 8 o'clock, when she reached in the park, it was dark and silent, though she was nervous also. And she found there Christy with a group of girls there, and she introduced Alice to other girls. And there was a girl whose name was Sandra. She was looking like the leader of that group, and she was actually 1 year senior to Alice. And then they went out of the park, and there they found Janice. This was another girl, and Janice was surprised to see Alice there because she was not expecting that Alice would go there. And Janice was holding a carrier bag which was full of apples. So now Christy asked, that okay, do you remember uh, that conductor on the train who was so rude to me recently? So this question Christy asked from Janice. So yeah, Janice as well as from Alice. So Alice said yes. So then she says that that I had given this assignment to Janice, that she would tell us that where did this person live, and then we will do some revenge attack. And that person, that ticket collector and his wife, they were inside that greenhouse, and now we would attack there. So they went inside the gate and they hid behind the shed. And after the signal, Janice, she started throwing those apples on the window of the house. And after that, everyone joined, and Alice also joined in this, and they all started just throwing apples. They kind of bombarded the house with the apples. And then that person, he came out, and he started shouting, and then he tried to catch them, but all those girls, they just ran from there. And at a time, Alice got so tired that she was not in any energy to run. And when Christy saw this, she encouraged her to run. And then finally they just escaped from there. And after that, Sandra, that leader, she told Janice that Janice and everyone, including especially to Alice, because she was new there, that you would not tell this to anyone, you have to promise this. And we will give you a good news very soon. Now Alice was expecting that maybe this girl gang, they were trying to include her in their gang, and that is why Sandra said those words to Alice. And the next day, when Alice went to school, Christy and Sandra, they were waiting for her. And Christy told that we have this power that we can nominate a new member, and now we are going to nominate you. That means you are now in our gang. And Alice was so happy to be part of that new gang, which actually showed the girls power gang. So this was the story of this chapter, girl gang. Those students, as I told, that I do not appreciate such behavior from students, because the kind of action which they did, this is not actually the girl power. We can show girl power by doing various things which could be you know really nice, and which could benefit others also, rather than disturbing people. Okay, so now we'll move forward and we'll do the next story, which is a very nice story, I would say. This is something which you would really enjoy. So the name of this story or the chapter is The Inside Out Stocking. So stocking means socks here. So, this story is about a little boy whose name was Rex. Rex had only one problem. He was very unlucky. And what sort of bad luck he had, that if he would run very fast, he would fall and he would hurt himself. And if he would climb into a swing, again he will soon fell out. So such kind of incident used to happened to him, and that is why it is said that he was unlucky. Like if suppose he would have a pound given to him, pound is a currency, like a coin. If he would have a coin, so that coin would be lost. How? Because it would go through a hole in his pocket. So he was considered as as a boy with bad luck. So now, uh, besides having all these problems, Rex has one good thing, and that was that he was very good racer. He could run very fast. And now in the school there was this sport fest, and the headmaster of the school, he came to him and he told Rex that you have to win this for us. You have to win the competition for us, because there were various races like running, jumping, a slow bicycle racing, obstacle race, etc. Now, for this, Rack said to the headmaster that, yeah, I will try my best, but I'm very unlucky person. You never know, anything can happen to me. Now, Rex was sure that, because he was lucky, he would get measles or mumps, which are names of some of the health issues, some of the diseases. So now Rex's sister Lucy, she was very concerned for her brother, and she wished that he could win the races. So now Lucy thought that she would go to Mother Brown, who was an old lady and lived in a little cottage at the end of their village. As she was very old, she was supposed to be very wise and knowledgeable. So she thought that she would go to Mother Brown, and people, they say that she could help Rex. So that is why she went there. She took an egg laid by her own little white hen to give to Mother Brown, and the old lady was very pleased and told Lucy to sit down in her big rocking chair. And then Lucy said to Mother Brown that, Mother Brown, could you please help my brother? I want to make him a lucky person. So now for this, Mother Brown said that, yes, of course you can. Uh, a black cat brings luck. So if you have a black cat around your brother can be a lucky person. So then Lucy said that, okay, but there is no black cat near my house. Then what else can make my brother lucky? And to answer this, Mother Brown said that, okay, then it is lucky if you get up in the morning and put on your stocking. That means you wear your stocking inside out. Meaning of inside out is, the inner surface comes outward, comes outside. So if you will wear your stockings inside out without noticing it, so that could, make someone lucky. So what was the condition here? One can become lucky if that person or someone else for him would, wear his stocking inside out without noticing that. So Lucy felt, happy to listen that, as her, eyes brightened. And then, she decided that okay, she would uh, go into her brother's bedroom that night before the sports day, and she would turn one of his stockings inside out. And if he would not notice it, he would become lucky for that day. And so the night before the sports day, Lucy lay wide awake. That means she didn't sleep till late night, and she was waiting for Rex to sleep. And when Rex slept, the next morning, uh, before that, Lucy went and she turned one of his stockings inside out. So now the next morning, when Lucy looked at her brother's stockings, as she was just noticing whether Rex had worn his stocking the same way, or the one of those stockings were inside out. So now she noticed that Rex had put those the same way without noticing it. That means he was wearing his one of the stockings inside out. And now both of them, they went to school, and then the races started there. And first one race, then another, this way, all the races and jumping, it just, took place. And for everyone's surprise, Rex won. He won all those races. He didn't drop his egg once when he participated in egg race. And he kind of surprised everyone. Now he finished well with, you know with bang on time, and he was ahead of all the children. And one time he was just about to fall, but he didn't, and he won the prize. So now, you know because Rex won all of these, now nobody knew that how did he win. And only Lucy, she knew that, how he won those races. And she decided that okay, now onwards, whenever I would want my brother's day to be a good one or a lucky day, I would go into his room, and I would just, you know uh, turn his one of the stockings inside out. And if he would not notice it, he would become lucky that day. And Rex now used to have lucky days, but nobody knew it that how it happened. So this was the story, which was, I guess, really nice one. Now we are left with this short poem called Aerodynamic Mishap, written by Gareth Lancaster. So in this poem, the poet made a paper aeroplane, and he believed that it was the best one. And he took enough time to make that, and he had planned well to make that. He had sketched, from either side, and he knew that it would be really amazing, when it would fly in the sky. It would, swoop and dive. But when it got ready, its flight was not as he had planned. Why? Because it went so high, and then it turned towards the teacher, and it crashed and burned and hit her eye. So what actually happened? He made that paper aeroplane after planning and after thinking a lot, but he couldn't, control its flight, because when he actually you know threw that, so what happened that it went and it hit the teacher's eye. So that is why this plane actually was screwed up and went into the dustbin. That means the teacher just crumbled that and threw into the dustbin, and everyone just agreed that it was really shameful, for a student who hit the teacher with that aeroplane. Why? Because now the teacher had a black eye, and only the poet was to blame, because the poet has only made that aeroplane of paper. So this was the short poem Aerodynamic Mishap. I hope you liked it. So thank you very much, students.